When it comes to professional StarCraft 2, sometimes the games can be a little bit quote-unquote boring. And I mean that in the nicest sense of the word. Here's the thing, the top level guys are pretty much always going for the same build orders and strategies over and over and over again. Now the player here in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Wall, he's playing at an extremely high level and he's always delivering, okay? He's always going for strange build orders. Speaking of which, oh my god. Is he gonna go for the gold first here? He sent that drone so early that Neeb isn't gonna... Spoiler alert, there's a Protoss player in the bottom left corner. His name is Neeb. Yeah, look at this. He's already gonna go for a golden base here, mixing it up. Playing a little bit differently than pretty much all of the other guys are playing. It's almost as if there's like an email newsletter, you know, that all of the other Zerg players and Protoss players and Terran players are subscribed to, and Bly for some reason is not included. Like, what is this man doing? Gold base first, knowing the timing of the probe, so he knows very well when he needs to send the drone, so he sent it early so it won't be scouted. Now he's doing a double extractor trick, I guess, into a spawning pool? This is such a weird build order already, and I love it, man. This man is consistently delivering when it comes to, you know, fun StarCraft 2, and he does so against the best players in the world. So, his opponent, I mean, did I actually even introduce him? I don't know if I did. Anyways, he goes by the name of Bly. And as I spoiled earlier, we have none other than Neeb as his opponent. Now Neeb, I mean, he plays... Okay, so he sees a couple of drones leaving. If he didn't already put one-on-one together, he certainly knows now, right? I mean, where else are those drones gonna go? So those drones are making a very long trip all the way over to the gold base. Now, one thing you gotta keep in mind, right, is that, you know, that's a lot of missed mining time. That took them like, what, 10-15 seconds to go on over there? So that's like a couple hundred minerals down the drain of potential lost mining time. So I don't even really know if it's worth it, because it's blue minerals that return 5 minerals a trip and the golden minerals return 7. So you can do the math. I mean, they will catch up over the course of the next couple of minutes. But it's cool. It's just cool to see someone playing a little bit differently than pretty much everyone else. Now, I would say, though, that the quote-unquote boring style that, for example, Neeb likes to play is probably superior. I mean, all the top guys pretty much all play the same build orders over and over and over again. And obviously, Bly is a very, very highly ranked player, but he's not quite at the level of, like, for example, a Serral or a Raynor. And I don't mean that with any disrespect, it's just statistics, right? He has been less successful in his career than those two guys. But it's cool to see someone playing a little bit differently. Now, especially Protoss. They're usually considered to be rather inflexible, just because they are very, very tight when it comes to their build orders and where they need to be spending their chrono boosts and stuff. You're also kind of locked into a certain tech route as soon as you put down your tech structure. So in this particular case, it's going to be a Stargate, and obviously he can, you know, he can make a transition into something else later on if he wants to. And he probably will. He probably will. I don't think he's going to be sticking around on a Stargate for too long. It's just a little bit more rigid, I suppose. Anyways. We'll see where this is gonna go. Neeb might be able to get a couple of drones here. Nicely done. Oh my god! I think that's the first time I've ever seen a drone stand up to a freaking adept like that and just kill it. I was thinking Neeb was easily gonna be able to get those 2 worker kills, but apparently it wasn't meant to be, huh? Now obviously this is 2020, so Neeb is following this up with a Void Ray. This has become really popular very recently. We see that Overlord desperately flying away. He's not very fast. He's like, no, don't do it, please. I'll be in a natural, I promise. I'm not going to scout your main base ever again. There you go, Neeb. Neeb doesn't really care for his pleas. It's a little bit sad, but I don't really know how this works out, though. Can the Queens, like, say the Void Ray is on hold position over here. Yeah, no, the Queens are certainly going to be in range. I was thinking maybe the Void Ray can, like, harass the back of this mineral line. One thing that you gotta keep in mind here, right? Say if this would have been, like, a robo facility first. This actually could have been a pretty big problem. Because dropping one adept over here can actually be a massive pain in the butt. Luckily here for Bly, that's not the case. Obviously on this map, right, you can't actually get to the back of the minerals until, like, the minerals are mined out. So these mineral patches are full mineral patches, but the ones over here, they have a little bit less. Still, though, like, 2 adepts over here could be an absolute disaster with a prism constantly juggling them back and forth. I think this is also Bly playing a little bit to what he knows Neeb likes to do. So in all of the games of ZVP that I've casted of Neeb recently, so already actually he's mining out the mineral patches here in the center, but in pretty much all of the cases that I've casted a ZVP that Neeb played recently, he's always going for that very early probe scout, and then he's pretty much always going for a Stargate follow-up or a Twilight Council. So the odds, I guess, of the Protoss player going for a Robo first are rather low. Bit of a gamble, a calculated risk, as they say. Anyways, I'm liking this a lot. Let us have a look at what the Protoss player is going for. Alright, I'm liking this a lot as well. I have seen a lot of double Stargate builds. Most of the time, they seem to be based around mass Phoenix production. Apparently, the Protoss right here, he is pumping out 2 of those. Oh, don't lose one. Hello. Hello, wake up. Okay, that was sloppy. He's pumping out 2 of those Void Rays at once. Is he going... What? What is Bly doing? He's going for a Queen March to watch this 3rd base. And you know what? When you think about it, right? It makes a lot of sense. This is so uncommon. Bly did not get the memo on how you're supposed to be playing StarCraft. I love it. Obviously, this is extremely good though, right? Like, you can add in Ravagers very easily here. Ravagers and Queens are like the strongest early game units in the game, right? So if you can get those to your opponent's site, that's pretty neat. I'm actually a little bit concerned right now for this 3rd base. Now, obviously, Neeb sees this coming from a mile away, and since the Queens walk very slowly, he did have a lot of time right here to prepare some shield batteries. Prismatic Alignment is currently on cooldown, so that means that these Queens are gonna have a field day, right? Nice targeting right there on that shield battery, ignoring the ground army here for the most part. Battery overcharge was used very aggressively right there by the Protoss player. Once again, a little bit of this micro right there by Neeb. Okay. I mean, is this gonna be enough? Oh god, is this gonna be enough? I mean, he's hitting bile after bile. Neeb is certainly not microing this perfectly. Once again, I mean, Void Rays are not supposed to be countered by Ravagers, in case you're unfamiliar. I've got a feeling that right now the 3rd base is gonna fall. A little bit sloppy right here by Neeb. He is holding on, though, to the best of his abilities, but it's just not going to be enough. The ladies have shown up. Whoa. This is a cool little push, isn't it? I'm trying to think what the Protoss player could have done differently. I feel like this is, you know, Bly playing these build orders every single day. And him just being aware of what he needs to get done, right? So he didn't know that it was a double Stargate follow-up. I'm trying to think what would have happened if this was a Robo follow-up, right? Which is very common. Would that have looked differently? I don't know. Like, if it would have been a Robo follow-up, I guess he could have reinforced with a ton more Zerglings here instead. Because obviously then all of a sudden you're going to have to deal with Immortals and potential Prisms and stuff as well. And that's going to make this push quite a bit weaker. Also, one thing to point out is that these Queens are going to have a hard time retreating. But I guess as long as they get the kill on the 3rd, it's all good. There they go. Wait, are they gonna leave? I think they're probably gonna try and leave. There's no way he's just gonna sect it, right? Oh my god. You know what he needs? A Nydus Worm. If he has a Nydus Worm here, he could retreat with it. That would be kind of cool. Look at these Void Rays. They're like, okay, well, if the anti-air defense is right now, you know, over at what was previously my 3rd base, I guess I can start dealing a little bit of damage with those flying boys on the other side of the map instead. Yeah, there we go. They're gonna be able to return home, but it's gonna take them another minute. Prismatic Alignment right here on the Spore Crawler. Nicely done. And that means that these drones can be in a little bit of trouble. Or the hatchery. Oh my god, this is a crazy match. It's always the Bly games, man. Like, the Bly games make me happy. As a StarCraft player, this is so cool to see. I kind of want Bly to win like one of the big premier tournaments. Oh my god, that is an Overlord Forest over here. Look at that. I kind of want him to like win a really, really big tournament. So like all of the other top level guys are going to start playing his style as well. Once again, man, like those moves are completely unnecessary. I mean, I'm not saying I could do a better job. But how many Void Rays have gone down here? 7 Void Rays have gone down in this game. And I feel like at least 4 of those were unnecessary. Either to corrosive biles or just mispositioning or just, you know, not responding right there and respecting the queen enough. This could very well be due to the fact that, like, he's still doing a great job with the harassment though, but this could very well be due to the fact that Void Rays are you know, not a unit that top-level players really ever played. So it might just take a while before everyone feels confident in their Void Ray control. Decides to recall him out of there because the queens are on either side. Gold base will be reacquired. Now, in the meantime, on the side of the Protoss player, we do see him securing that third base on the low ground once again. How many probes actually were killed? So, only 11 probes ended up going down. More drones were actually killed here. So, big picture, I mean, it really didn't matter too much. That queen push, I mean, it was nice, but he killed the base, which is worth 400 minerals. Now, over... What? Dude, what is he doing? There's a Nydus worm coming up, and then also... Like, I'm putting a lot of attention right here on the Zerg player, but... Nydus worm, Roach Ravager, Zergling Queen... Infestor? Is he actually thinking about Microbial Shroud and Queens to deal with the air units? Now that's cute. An hallucinated Phoenix. I am not sure what those units are supposed to do. Okay, so there's a couple of... I think they're just part of the main army. Yeah, I think he's just looking to add those to the main army with the queens and stuff. And now he's going for Swarm Hosts as a follow-up as well. So this is Nydus Worm Swarm Host. I think Nydus Worm Swarm Host is fantastic when you can keep the Protoss player on, say, 120 or so supply. Neeb is already there, so, like, he's about one production cycle away from being able to deal with those Swarm Hosts relatively easily. Another Void Ray, which is not controlled. It's just gonna go down. I mean, I understand that the response there has to be really quick, right? And I don't know what server this game was played on, but... Man, that's a lot of dead Void Rays. Okay. So he hears the scream right now, probably immediately worried about this location. That would be a very obvious spot for the Nydus Worm to go. Queens right now are escorting the Swarm Hosts that are now launching Locusts to watch the natural of the Protoss. What a crazy time. Now, Psionic Storm is done, so that's really good. Yep, this first wave does absolutely nothing. Well, it killed like one probe. But that first wave did nothing. Usually you want to be paying attention especially to the first wave of the Swarm Hosts. There is enough, obviously, for Storm and Feedback. Beautiful moves right there. Nice fungal growth as well there by Bly, but still liking this Protoss army here quite a bit. Another massive Storm goes down, and that base easily stays alive. Yeah, that's why I was a little bit confused there by the Infestors. I mean, they just get Feedback, and then, you know, since Feedback outranges everything that the Infestor can do, they didn't really achieve that much. I guess as long as they stay alive, they'll accumulate energy again. I guess you can use the queens to transfuse them. Here we go. Another little Swarm Host launch. Forcing apparently now to storm the own Protoss units. But once again, good moves there by Neeb though. Like, Neeb is doing a much better job right now. I mean, come on, Neeb! Stop it, man! What are you... Neeb! Neeb, wake up! What? Huh? It almost feels like he doesn't want those units. He's like, yeah, I know they're the flavor of the month, so I make 11 of them. But I hate him. I don't actually want to have him. I guess he was busy cleaning up the creep or something, but I really feel like he could have kept, like... I don't know. I don't want to put out a number again, but I really feel like he had a chance. You know what he should do? He should make, like, the base over here and then mine long distance on the golden... Or, sorry, like, put a base over here and then mine the golden minerals. Not with long distance, just, you know, on the regular. And then he can warp in zealots and stuff. That'd be neat. That would be kind of neat. Okay. Now, I'm making it kind of sound here as if the Protoss player is in a bad spot. He really isn't. He's been doing a phenomenal job dealing with the Swarm Host, which is where most Protoss players struggle. Now, this is like the first wave that I feel like might be able to get something done, but even then, I mean, it's really not too much. At the same time, he's mustering up a much more powerful army here than what the, you know, the Zerg player is going for. When you have this much supply caught up in Swarm Host and Queens, I mean, they fall off as, like, the Protoss army grows, right? And I'm liking this position, actually, for Neeb quite a bit. He now has 4 bases up and running, which is all you need to really, like, get a really strong maxed out force. Once you get a 5th base out, you can potentially start thinking about, like, a big Skytoss transition as well, towards, like, Carriers and Tempests and all that. So, I'm not minding this position here for the Protoss at all. Beautiful creep spread, by the way, throughout this game as well. We see Bly basically taking everything north of the Golden Wall. And apparently Neeb is now taking the entire southern section. Here's a Swarm Host flank apparently coming up. A little bit of a strange thing, but hey, I don't mind it. Once again, forcing some energy out of those High Templar. Gets a Stalker? I think that was it. Just one Stalker. May have missed another unit, though. But yeah, he's doing a good job right now cleaning up the creep. If you let go of the creep for a little bit, the Zerg is going to spread it everywhere. I mean, you can only contain it so much, but nice little patrolling over here as well. There's a lot of people, right, that play StarCraft 2 and they desperately try to improve, but they all use the all army hotkey. If you are struggling against Swarm Hosts, the odds of you using the all army hotkey are rather big. You really, really want to make sure you keep patrolling units back and forth, man. It's so helpful. By the way, while this was all going on, apparently Zerg has transitioned towards a Hive and a Greater Spire. So all of a sudden, man, we have a big Broodlord transition. Broodlords are absolutely phenomenal, especially when it comes to dealing with you know, Immortal, Archon, High Templar, Zealot mid-game, or... oh my god, Neeb! Hello! Okay, well, they're really good at dealing with all those units. It also helps if you know, throw away a bunch of your own High Templar there. Once again, bit of a sloppy move by Neeblet. He's already, though, going for a big Stargate transition, despite the fact that he's on 4 bases. So, pretty good timing right there by Neeb. I'm assuming, even though... Oh, actually, you didn't see. I was going to say, like, I didn't see the timing right there of the Hive because I was busy talking about other things, but he actually didn't either. He already is making the call, though, to go into Tempest, to go into Void Race, and to go into Carriers. At the very least, I saw a couple Carriers earlier. Yeah, okay, maybe he canceled them, and then he decided to start producing those Tempest here instead. A lot of spine crawlers in the top right, so I don't think that that base is going to go down here anytime soon. But look at this, though. Neeb is actually bringing the Observer over here as well. There's no detection here for Bly, so these Tempests are going to be able to have an absolute field day. Good abduction right there. Looks like a feedback went down on the Viper as well, so at the very least, that means that the... you know, the Viper is done abducting for now. Queens are available for transfuse, but those Tempests, they do not mess around. There's a couple more flying units heading on over in this direction as well. As long as those Corruptors are dealt with, the rest of his army should be cleaned up relatively easily, but obviously the Protoss army is gonna have to deal with all of this before they actually lose the Nexus. Zerglings now coming in from the back as well, trying to set up a surround. Massive storms are going down, man. Neeb is really good in these big battles. Look at this. That was about as good as of a control there as you could have as a Protoss player. Absolutely phenomenal play right there by Neeb. Holds on relatively easily. Another Locust wave comes in right now, and maybe that one's going to be able to do a little bit of damage now that the Protoss player is out of Storm, but even the Archon there stays alive. It now has 20 kills. This bad boy over here is 30. The other Archon has 22. The absolute heroes right here of the battle. Just, you know, taking so much damage, but also dealing very much damage as well. New Revelation spell being thrown right here. Well, it's not new, obviously, but it's half the energy that it used to be. It also lasts much longer, or much less long, but yeah, really neat. He's actually going to prioritize getting the Creep Tumor there. Yeah, he's not going to warp in anyway. He's not going to drop out anyway. So, ooh, this is a little bit awkward over here. Bly actually is now, you know, juggling so many different parts of his army that apparently he's not going to be able to micro all of it perfectly anymore. I'm starting to actually be a little bit concerned right now here for the Zerg. I mean, yeah, he's done a brilliant amount of tricks. He's been playing a really beautiful game of Zerg vs Protoss. I especially loved the first 10 minutes or so of it. I think the Queen push and the gold first and all of it made a lot of sense. Right now, though, he's kind of sticking around on mid-game tech, and he's not getting, you know, much of an army out. I mean, I like the Broodlords there, but they're kind of shaky, man. They're kind of shaky at best. So here we go once again. Corruptor Cloud moving on top of all of those Protoss units without the Archons underneath. This is actually going to be a pretty good choice. Still, though, Prismatic Alignment has been activated on a bunch of those Void Rays, so they deal a lot of damage to those armored Corruptors. Still, Corruptors, beautiful micro there by Bly. Keeps them alive, at least the majority of them. And is going to be able to clean up most of these Protoss air units as well, which is really, really important. You want to try and contain that Protoss army here if you are the Protoss player. Okay. There's an entire battle going on here constantly as well at the top section of the map that I haven't really been highlighting very much. What's the APM at for both of these? Okay, they're pretty fast. So the base falls. Right now with the... oh my god, look at this. They can actually fly away, man! With that speed upgrade of the Void Ray, they can actually apparently now fly away from Corruptors. Because Corruptors decelerate every single time that they shoot. Pretty crazy. Anyways, he's going for a tech into Banelings right now. I don't mind it. Like, Roach Ravager Ling Bane is pretty good. I'm just wondering if maybe Lurkers would be a better choice right now for the Zerg. Like, assuming Protoss is going to be able to hold on to this 5th base, right? Oh my god, the Arkle. That's going to take so many of those Baneling hits. I don't know. I don't know about going down to Roach Ravager Ling Bane. It was a good composition previously. Nowadays, though, it's a little more shaky after they nerfed the Baneling twice. It now actually takes 21 Banelings to kill 1 Arkle, which, you know, is not a very efficient trade at all. A couple of Corruptors apparently feeling brave that they can potentially take out these units. They're going to be able to get one of them. Corruptors, though, are going to be able to fly out. Well, I mean, they are able to fly anyway. Base, once again, will be acquired up north. Swarm Hosts are utilized everywhere. This is a crazy game. You have to be so good to play all of this, like, from both sides. I feel like I've been highlighting the Zerg a lot, but honestly, I feel like... Here's the thing, most Protoss players, right, that are at Neeb would have already crumbled under this pressure. This is a ridiculous amount of pressure to be under here all the time. And Bly is not letting his foot off the gas at all. The fact that Neeb is this close to maxing out in the first place is pretty insane. And honestly, if he gets there, right, if he manages to max out on a Skytools-based army, I don't see what the Zerg player could go ahead and do. Zerg is now adding on additional Swarm Hosts. The classic 21 minutes... 18 Swarm Hosts or whatever switch. Pretty ridiculous. This is not something that Neeb is probably gonna expect. I mean, he's feeling comfortable with the amount of defenses that he's got right now. Swarm Hosts are one of the few units that continuously gain value here for the Zerg player, and I actually like the addition right here quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot of them. Look at this. Alright, they're gonna launch one really big volley. He could even just right-click on the Nexus, I think, but... I mean, that's a bit of a gamble. He doesn't know exactly what's over here. But this amount of Swarm Hosts is going to be able to plow through a lot of this static defense quite easily. Now, good storms as well. At the same time, the majority of the Protoss army has made its way up north. This base over here will get shut down. Obviously, though, that doesn't mean that Neeb is pretty far away from his home. Good storm once again, man. Those storms are really keeping the Protoss player in the game. At the same time, a hit squad of freaking Void Rays going into the freaking base. They're going to be able to beam down that Spore Crawler, and after it, the hatchery also falls. My god, I love StarCraft. Alright. Where's this gonna go from here? Well, the Swarmos obviously are gonna try another stab over here at that base. Recall towards it, though. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, you can see the hesitation right here by Bly to go into Hydras, right? So I feel like Hydras and Lurkers would be a pretty good follow-up, but that's a very passive style. Whenever you play Hydras and Lurkers, I mean, you can't really be as active anymore in the way that Bly is playing here, you know? It's very difficult to be aggressive with that unit composition. So, even though, like, it seems to be the preferred weapon of choice for example, Serral and Raynor and Dark and Rogue and all of those other top-level Zergs, I can imagine that it doesn't really fit Bly's playstyle very well. Because as soon as you switch into Hydra Lurker here, you're basically giving Protoss free reign of the map. Now, honestly, that may also very well be the reason why those other, you know, Zerg players that I mentioned a couple times already are a big fan of that unit composition. It's just because even if you put on a lot of pressure, apparently these top dogs, right, these top Protoss players, they're still going to be able to expand anyway. Like, that's honestly the most impressive part in this game here. I love the way that Bly is playing, but the fact that, like, Neeb is still in this, and the fact that he's actually looking solid, and that he's actually expanding all over the place is insane. He's juggling like 17 different balls, and for some reason, he's not letting any of them fall to the ground. That was an entire wave of locusts completely wasted there. Like, he kind of dropped the ball. Okay, if I'm being brutally honest here, he dropped the ball on the Void Ray control in the early game. But it's almost like as if he's tightened up his belt or whatever, you know? Like the last 15 minutes, he's been doing a phenomenal job. I kind of want to have a look right now at the units lost. Yeah, this is a bit painful. Because while this is all going on, right? Like, this is not a unit composition, the one that Bly is playing, that you do off of 80 workers. Because Swarm Hosts are too supply heavy to be able to go up to 80 workers. Like, you can't really comfortably do it. I mean, you kind of can, but it's really hard to actually have a standing army at that point. Once again, good abducts. There gets a couple of those Void Rays on the way out. The thing is, you need to be trading efficiently if you want to be fighting, you know, with an even or less economy, right? And Bly is not doing so. Like, he's not having those efficient traits that I hammer on in so many of these long games on StarCraft 2. Like, if you're mining relatively even and your opponent is trading more efficiently, you kind of fall behind in the long run. Okay, here it is. The big carrier transition that he attempted earlier. First two carriers are out. They're going to start building their interceptors. Good call, by the way, earlier as well from Neeb to cancel those carriers that I believe I saw on the production tab in favor of Tempest instead. It made a lot of sense against those Brute Lords. This base, by the way, is still alive. There we go. Alrighty. Caustic Spray is utilized right now, so that does mean that this base is going to be picked off here very shortly. It's one of those abilities that deals a lot of damage with the High Templar out of energy. That's pretty good. Now, ooh, this is not really where you want to go. Ooh, okay, this is a big mistake here by Bly. Yep. You could see that one coming, right? I mean, you give the move command to go into, I don't know, another location there. That was, I don't know exactly how many, but I think about 10 Corruptors there, essentially for free. Maybe they killed like one of those Void Rays there, but you basically attack move them in a certain direction. And right now, that opens up the opportunity for Neeb to potentially go in for the killing blow. I mean, he's got so many Archons, he's got High Templar, he's got a bunch of carriers somewhere out on the map as well. I don't know where the rest of them are. Okay, apparently they're hanging out over at the third base. Prismatic Alignment, or sorry, Parasitic Bomb right there on one lonely Void Ray, but that's not really going to achieve too much either. Right now, all of a sudden, it's the Protoss player that's holding the high ground. No Storm that time around, but I mean, there are so many freaking Archons. They're going to be able to eat those Banelings for breakfast. Looks like the Archons are going to be able to get underneath the leftover Corruptors as well. Natural of the Zerg player right now is gone. Actually, I guess that was his third base. Regardless. In the meantime, in the top left-hand corner, Neeb right now is... It's like a right angle, like a 90-degree angle right there on the minimap, man. Look at that. Beautiful moves right here by Neeb, man. Fantastic. Like, this guy is... extremely good at, like, not dying to stuff. Easier said than done. Now, obviously, right? He could add on a mothership here. Wouldn't mind that at all. Now, here comes, I guess, the last-ditch effort from Bly. He's going to be able to use his Locust Wave, which is great, but is he just not going to, like, recall? There we go. Maybe a couple of Archons will go down because that recall was a little late. One of them apparently was just barely not in the circle. At the same time, reinforcing Zerg units are making their way towards the top left-hand corner. But guess what? The carriers have arrived. And, I mean, this is very impressive. Very impressive Protoss play. Okay. So where do you go from here if you're the Zerg? He's got no anti-air, and I can't help but notice a lot of flying units. I mean, Corrosive Ball worked well against Void Rays earlier, but I don't think that's going to happen again. There's the Locust Wave again, but I've got a feeling that may very well be the last one of the game. Yeah, there it is. A single G is posted there by Bly. Incredible match. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I mean, if you're a StarCraft fan, you probably did, right? That was fantastic. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. That way this video might get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. And that way, maybe we can even grow the channel, despite the fact that this is like a 10-year-old game. Anyways, for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I hope to see you once again in the next one.